Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for yet another edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. Tonight, we will be looking at a topic, customer service in human resource management. And I'm excited, I feel highly honored and privileged that today we have as our facilitator, someone I hold in dear esteem with high regard. I'm tempted to say His Excellency, Mr. Aminu Yao. And okay, but first and foremost, let me mention that he's an elected council member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, one of the 5 elected council members. Aminu is concerned with professionalism of the human resource management practice, specifically in the public sector. This is premised on his understanding, okay, that public sector as a strategic player in providing policy formulation for every other sector of the economy, and it requires competent human resources capable of driving developmental agenda and institutionalizing excellent service delivery in the system. By way of education, he holds a bachelor's degree from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. He also has a master's degree from the great Bayero University, Kano, and is a doctoral student, okay, with the University of Abuja. In addition to this, professionally, he's also a member of CIPM, membership full member category. He's a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, and is a member of the Learning and Development Network International. All right. Currently, he is working in the capacity of manager, Savicom, at the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Prior to this, he had managed different human resource functions ranging from recruitment, manpower planning, performance management, and most recently head of admin and reporting in the human capital management function. He's also an SAP, okay, subject matter for SME. All right. He has done several trainings, including service delivery, excellent service in HR, strategic thinking for performance management, strategic leadership for transformation, among several others. He's highly exposed to employee relations and the dynamism around this subject matter. Again, it's important to note that he has some hobbies, which includes reading, traveling, and he purchase which job does he support in addition to Kano Pillars? You have the floor, sir. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you so much, my brother. This is a very rare privilege, for me to be part of your team and to learn from you guys. Thank you so much for this honor. Let's not waste much of our time. You have done so elaborate, introduction of me. I don't think I deserve that much, but by way of going into the business, I want us to look at the topic, personally, when I see the topic, I ask myself, wow, this topic, why do we have to talk about this topic? Is there justification for this? Is there any relevance? So distinguished colleagues, let me say this before I even start, that please, I always like my class to be interactive. So be ready to share your ideas, your thoughts, on the chat box, please. I will be glad to pick your contributions and share so that we all learn. In fact, myself too, I will have to have, a jotter with me and pen so that I will be taking note of all your, contributions so that I have a very good learning experience. So going back to the topic, why customer service? This I asked myself, personally, I felt like, yes, this customer service we are talking about goes beyond what we are thinking. It's very much related to human resource for so many reasons. For the 2 decades that I've been, involved in human resource management, my experience, one thing that stands out is that there is this lack of trust between a HR person or HR professional, and his colleagues, the other employees that are in the same organization as you are, maybe largely you can say due to the fact that some of us, we the employees, especially, let me put it this way, in public sector, we are in the habit of not coming to work on time, knowing fully well that there is reporting time, 8 a.m. or 8:30 as the case may be, and closing time, which is 5 p.m. Some of us some of us will not like to be reporting as at when due, So you will always hear this complaint that, Kai, I don't like HR. I don't like HR. To be honest, from my experience of all the jobs that are in our organizations, HR is the most unpopular. HR is even seen more like a police. Oh, yes, we are police because we are policing the organization. However, the accusation concerning unfriendliness, being unhelpful, is just too much. It appears as if we are not friendly towards our colleagues. We don't help, our colleagues, the employees, Some will argue that, yes, because, in fact, some people will say, these guys in HR, they are not nice. Yes, fine. But, for Brian Walker, are we in the nice business? We aren't. So for him, what we are doing, we are into fair business. So actually, I see it as like we are more like referees. If you are a fan of soccer, you'll understand what I mean, because as a referee, both sides of the teams, nobody likes you, because it is when they have a very good opportunity to score, that is when you blow up side. Can you imagine? Why will you do that? Because you are a referee. You are not nice, but you are fair. Well, be as it may, organizations over time, began to observe that, yes, as much as HR is important, HR job is important, and HR practitioners are doing their best, there is this part that I think is missing. There are these three fundamental questions that has to do with practicing HR. That is how, why, and when. These three questions, I think this is the right time for us to ask, define these questions. How do we practice HR? That one has been answered. It's like we are not doing what we are supposed to do. We are not up to the expectation of our colleagues. Why? The why is clear. We know why we are doing what we are doing, and when we are doing it. For example, if you are to employ, you know when to employ. You know how to employ. But the problem there is in recruitment, how do you recruit? Is a very good question. When it is time for promotion, how did you promote? When it is terminating somebody's appointment, how did you terminate? If you are talking about given query, how did you dispatch the query letter? This is where personally I have the issue. So why is okay as far as I'm concerned, when is okay, but how? That is what customer service seeks to explain, and to promote a better way of how in the human resource business. So because of that, leaders in the industry, they are beginning to have this philosophy of seeing HR or operate in HR as a customer service profession in which your own colleagues, that's the employees, you treat them as your customers. And beyond the fact that you are in the same organization, even if you are in the same department, because the work you are doing in your function is different from the work somebody is doing in the same department as you are, which is HR, which ultimately means that person is receiving your support or your work. Your work has impact on him, you know? So seeing employees as customers, I think that is the way to go. And that's what informed the decision, you know, to talk about customer service in human resource management. So because all these things is about, you know, all these things are about trust. It's about trust. Nobody trusts us, we, the HR. I now said, okay, let me digress a bit and share with us, you know, this story. It's a popular story, actually, that we all know. However, let's just look at it and see how damaging it is when there is no trust, meaning that whatever you guys set to do, you will never achieve it. So this question of trust that I want to talk about has to do with a couple. There is this couple, you know, due to the sufferings, they are going through a lot, they are frustrated. So they decided to commit suicide. Okay? Sorry. So they decided to commit suicide. They agreed that, okay, what they will do is to climb a 40-story building and jump. Yes, the two of them agreed. That's what they will do. Let them commit suicide and go. That's the end of their life. Fine. Of course, after climbing, at the count of 3, the husband jumped while the wife remained standing and was watching him. So the wife refused to jump. Why? Because she didn't trust the husband, I believe. If you have any thought around this, please share with me. I'm ready to hear from you. Okay? These guys, you know, the wife refused to jump while the husband jumped. After about 8 to 10 seconds, the wife saw parachute opening from the back of the husband. Can you imagine? Meaning, even the husband was not ready to commit the suicide. This, for me, they didn't just decide to commit suicide because they want to commit suicide. They were tired. They were tired with staying together. So they only want to separate, but nobody want to say, let's separate. The arrangement was that let's commit suicide, but me, I will survive. So while the husband had his plan to survive, the wife too had her own plan to survive. So this is what trust can do. This is exactly what has been happening with us, we HR and our colleagues. Over time, whenever you say anything, of course, being the fact that you are from HR, your colleague will listen to you, but he will never believe you. Whatever you say, they won't believe you. How do we bring trust in our profession? Because we need to, you know, define the how for us to be able to achieve that. So this is just the story I said I will share with us. Let's go back to the business. In this, our discussion today, we are going to look at, you know, of course, objective of the discussion, introduction. We look at who is a customer, because we are talking about customer service. Who is a customer? we will now look at the concept of customer service. We now, of course, how do we build superior customer service in our workplaces? We identify poor customer service, and then we look at the consequences of poor customer service. We now look at the role of HR in creating a customer-centric culture in our organization. That is our role, me and you. What can we do to ensure we establish a customer-centric culture in our organization? Of course, we are all aware, by the time we have a customer-centric culture in our organization, we will now conclude by saying our organization is operating customer centrism. And we conclude, after which we will now take your own contributions before we go. So the objective, of course, the first one, we are going to, by the grace of God, look at the concept of customer centrism as it relates to human resource management. We will now appreciate the value of customer-oriented work culture, and we will try to apply customer lens in the practice of human resource management. Okay, we are now going to introduction. We are all aware that our organizations, because we all belong to different organizations, from time to time, you will hear our organizations saying we need to restructure, we need to rebrand, different types of words, nomenclatures being used to reposition organizations. CEOs are spending huge money in restructuring. Restructuring is good, it's fine. However, something is missing. Whenever we are restructuring, what is really missing is giving attention to how excellent service can attract, retain, and ensure customer loyalty. All our organizations, our major concern is profit. That's the truth. Any organization you go, as long as it's a business-oriented organization, the target is profit. What you as HR, how are you related? How is your job impacting the bottom line? We need to understand that. We have a role. We have a role to ensure that, our organization's bottom line is growing. So our leaders in various organizations began to, identify customer centrism, as an addition to surviving tactics in the competitive market. We will get to know what customer centrism is doing to organizations. And of course, for organizations to achieve that, HR has a great role in institutionalizing customer centrism. So fine, with this brief introduction, we can see that all we are talking about is about customer centrism. Now, I will pause here. I want to take feedback from you. Who is a customer? In your organization, you as HR, who are your customers? I don't know if I can get, your contribution here. Let me start feeling you. Who is your customer? Yes, the chat box is ready. Can anybody give me idea of who my employee? Great. Wow. You guys, I think we are done. The employees, you can see, Alfredo Samuel is saying the employees. We are right. My staff are my customers. Victoria, wow. So you can see from this, we are on the same page. We are on the same page. The employees and the entire management are our customers. So going into it, according to Wikipedia, I just say, let me just pick something from Wikipedia. A customer is the recipient of good, service, product, or idea from a seller, vendor, or supplier. By this meaning, this short meaning, it means a customer is part of us. Customer is part of our business. A customer is within us. So it's not somebody from anywhere. One thing that I think I need to stress is that a customer is someone who has concern, and it's our duty to provide solution without making him feel less important. That person, because it's our customer, thank you, Dr. Adeosun. He said, the family of our staff, thank you so much. They too, they are our customers. Yes. But while doing your job or giving service to your customer, please, we should endeavor to make sure that we didn't make that person feel inferior, less important, or he has no value. By the time we understand this, I tell you, our relationship with our customers will change. We will begin to build trust, because what we said, what is lacking is trust. So fine, if from this, what we just shared, this is who a customer is, what is customer service? Now that we understand who a customer is, what is customer service? Guys, I'm waiting for you. Let the comments flow, what is customer service? Anybody? Anybody? Where are my people? We know customer. So customer service, what does that mean? Okay, our relationship with the employees. Ibrahim Aliyu, thank you so much. Yes, I've gotten your aha. Wow, the HR manager serves as the middleman. Thank you. I can see it coming. Please, more of it. How we make our customers feel. Imbiaka Jeprisa, thumbs up. This is for you. Customer service, the ability to cater. Oh my God. Oluwafemilayo, I can see your handiwork. Thank you. You are doing well. You see, Ade, thank you. Paula Shade, support that we offer. Beautiful. Adele, now wow. You guys are too much. Customer service, we are done. You see, from what these guys you have just mentioned, customer service is an act of providing employees with the support and assistance they require to develop skills, that's their skills, enhance their competence, and achieve their career goal. Giving and proving, providing value. Thank you so much. I can see your contribution. So you can see customer service. What we are after here is you as HR, try and develop the skills of your colleagues, that's your employees, enhance their competence, because as you are developing their skills, it's helping them enhance their competence. Ultimately, it's going to help them achieve their career goals. That is to say, customer service in HR involves those processes and actions required in providing timely, effective, and respectful support in solving the inquiries of your employees and attending to their concerns relating to recruitment and onboarding. Let me pause here. You see, sometimes, especially now that our organizations is a combination of baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Z, and some part of millennials. You know, we have this different way of thinking. A classical example now, if you take a baby boomer, I don't want to be caught, but we will assume they so much like respect and they so much like to keep secrets, you know? Just imagine a millennial and baby boomer working in the same office. I remember some years back when I was part of the recruitment team in my organization, there was a particular employee at the point of interview, you know, before it came to his turn, the first question he asked was, apart from salary, what other benefits do you give? Somebody that was next to me, he said, look at this guy. He is not even sure whether he will get the job or not. He's asking of what is, if there is any other benefit aside salary. I now said, look, don't worry. Thank God he didn't ask you. His question was directed at me. So it's my calling. I will attend to him. So we have this issue at the time of recruitment and onboarding. Our prospective employees will ask simple question, an inquiry, no matter how silly that is. As HR, it's your responsibility to address his concern without making him feel less important. It's our duty. We have to do it. In terms of, employee relations and consequence management, I said something. Just imagine, I'm just painting a scenario. Last month, what happened in Lagos, the water, the rain, the flood in Ireland. Dr. Adeosun is director HR in my organization. And I live in Ireland. Unfortunately, the water, the rain or the flood immersed my house. The very day, Dr. Adeosun called me and said, hello, Mr. Aminu, how are you doing? I learned that there was flood in your area. How far? I hope it didn't affect your house. What happened? How are you? I hope, what happened? Your family, are they okay? Oh, you are fine. No problem. I understand that there is a job you are supposed to deliver today. No problem. What you will do, just send me a mail, with the information about the status update. Give me status update. I will get somebody, I will assign somebody to handle that. Please take good care of yourself. Let's see, keep me updated, whatever will happen. Something like this. I'm just painting a scenario. This is just one scenario. And then imagine in another scenario B, that day I didn't come work. As I didn't come work, nobody from my office, Dr. Adeosun, who is my director, didn't check on me, being not only as a director, even staff, nobody check on me, nobody cares. And of course, because of the trauma of what happened to me in my house in Ireland, I couldn't remember. Let me just use this word. I was so, carried away. I didn't call my office. I didn't call any of my colleagues. I didn't do anything, So at the end of the day, I couldn't come to work that day. But of course, because it's my job, that's where I earn my livelihood. I managed to clear my house that day. The following day, I reported at work. On getting to the office, I saw query waiting for me from Dr. Adeosun, because he is HR. query waiting for me. Employee relations and consequence management. That area, we need to look at it. So also compensation and benefit. Customer service is about managing compensation and benefits. For example, in public service, there are committees, due to important nature of certain assignments, a committee will be constituted. They will be given timeline, to deliver on a particular job. That committee will be given allowances, maybe per sitting, or at the end of the exercise, there will be honorarium. That is a benefit because it's outside the salary. So just imagine somebody who is in the same office and is not part of that committee, which ultimately means that it's not going to enjoy those benefits of being a member of a committee. How will he pay? How will you manage it? How will you manage the relationship? It's a customer service. Training and development. How do you train your staff? How do you decide which type of training, a particular employee requires? Is it based on rank, just because all of you are managers, okay, you are going to so training, or you are looking for, you are doing like a need assessment? What's the competency level of each employee in relation to his job? Or are you looking at the, succession planning, the roles that your staff is going to occupy next year? How do you prepare him in terms of training and competency development, for him to be able to work very well and discharge his duty, when he assumes that new role? Also, onboarding. When somebody is exiting, what plans do you have? How do you exit your staff? I kept on saying how. To the end of this program, we will keep on asking how. We are done with why. We are done with when. All other questions. But where we have issue is how. So how? We have to remember this. How we recruit and onboard, how we treat our employees in terms of consequence management, how we manage compensation and benefit, how we train and develop the capacity of our staff, and how we finally exit them from our organization. In fact, before I go further, let me quickly share with you my experience with onboarding. Exiting staff is of different time. I tell you, there was a particular time about maybe 10 years ago when it was my calling to give a termination of appointment letter to an employee. I tell you, that day, I was crying and he was crying. And because the way we do in our own organization, because he has official properties, so the letter has to be handed over to him and took over, and we have to take over all of the properties of the organization that are in his possession. So I will have to request for him to hand over the vehicle, everything that is allocated to him. But I tell you, it took me over 4 hours from the start to finish, before I could conclude exiting him. Let me use the word, exiting him. Because I will have to talk to him, You know, in this our profession, sometimes you will have to be a preacher, a counselor, a lawyer, a judge, you know, so many things. So beyond this that we have just talked about, that all this, we have to, you know, define the how of our customer service. Excellent customer service goes beyond apology. You know where we are in Nigeria. Okay. So I said excellent customer service goes beyond just providing support and assistance. Even if we are talking about providing excellent as in customer service with support and assistance, no, we have to go beyond that. As long as we want to provide excellent customer service, we have to create positive experience. What is that positive experience we are going to create? Is to build a relationship with our employees. We need to understand their needs and preferences. Our needs and preferences clearly shows that we will be able to provide personalized solution to their problem. Because as long as we will not go extra mile to understand their needs, that was why I'm so glad and happy. You know, when so we have thereby providing solution and you let me ask you, please, how do you think I sincerely apologize. It's raining heavily in Abuja. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes,
Thank you. So apology, it's actually raining and then the network went off all of a sudden. Apology. Okay, can you see me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
we can see you.
Oh, good. So in building superior customer service culture, we have to go extra mile. In fact, I even said before we even go, I wanted to interact with you so that I get to hear from you, how do we build superior customer service culture? But however, let's go. We will have chance to share and interact one more. You know, I was reading from Ron Kaufman. I saw this, beautiful points that, are so inspiring, that if you want to build a superior customer service culture, you need to have, one, is to create a unique service philosophy. How do we create unique service philosophy? You know, when I was talking about creating a positive experience, I mentioned that we need to understand the needs and preferences of our employees. And once we are able to do that, we should be able to provide personalized solution. Personalized solution here is because, what we are always talking is that we are going to provide best service. See, we in my organization, we are giving you the best service, be it banks, any organization. I don't want to mention one, but wherever you go, we'll be talking about giving the best service. Okay, fine. We are giving best service, but best at what? That's the question. Because what is my best may not be the best for Dr. Adeosun. If that is the case, it means you need to understand my preferences, my needs. Just like I mentioned earlier, that we need to understand the demographic setting in our organization, the baby boomers that we have. If I'm dealing with baby boomer, how do I attend to his need? If I'm dealing with Gen Z, if I'm dealing with Gen X, they all have different way of doing things. So after creating a unique service philosophy, we must go beyond that, promote it, and explain it such that all our staff will understand it in a way that whenever you are dealing with anybody, you know how to deal with it. Beyond that, at the point of hiring, we need to remember that it is a duty upon us to hire the people that will fit into our organization. Because that's the essence of testing. That's the essence of recruitment. That's the essence of, thank you, Mary, culture fit. Thank you so much. I like it, more of it. So when we are hiring, we have to be deliberate in hiring the people that will fit in our organization. So beyond hiring, what do you do with your staff? Sure, you have staff now. You can't just leave them. You need to orient them. The staff inside. Because like I said, remember our introduction, that from time to time, we keep on rebranding our organization. We keep on restructuring. Fine. As we restructure, we have service philosophy. We need to orient our staff. Let them know this is our focus. This is what we want to achieve. Then we have to train and retrain your staff. Training is important. And, there is this argument that customer service is taking a lot of money in organization. Why? Because you have to train, retrain, and you keep training. because training for customer service is different from training in any other skill. Because just imagine training around software, training around anything you can think of. Once you have that training, you are good. You can go ahead. Like, I'll give you an example. I am SAP SME, that is subject matter expert. I've been trained, yes, but I tell you, 80% of what I learn it on the job, in the process of my work, daily work. As I'm doing it, I'm learning. We are sharing ideas from among us with the SMEs, We have what we call like Center of Excellence, where we come together, share ideas. If there is any challenge, we brainstorm, But customer service, my dear, you can never say you are tired of customer service, for simple reason that people are different, are dynamic, and you are dealing with human beings. That is why, as part of the transformation of HR, in some places now, they use the nomenclature people management to bring that human in you. Let you see that you are dealing with people, you are dealing with human beings. So training is essential. Beyond that, we have to recognize and reward exceptional service. This is something we all know, and I can tell you that we see this in our banks nowadays. If you enter any branch, you will see employee of the month. That is just one. You, in your own organization, you must find a way of recognizing and rewarding exceptional service. Who are the best staff? Who are doing well? You have to recognize them. However, listen to your employees. I'm telling you, it's very important. A lot of information is going around, information that is very important, information that will help you, in your organization. Beyond listening to your employees, you need to have a suggestion box so that somebody that is anonymous can give you a suggestion. Somebody that will not want to be seen can give you feedback. That helps you a lot. Beyond that, you as an HR, me, you, I and you, all of us, we must walk the talk. We will not just be preaching in our organization. We must do this, do that. No, we have to be seen doing it. We have to be seen doing it. At the same time, we must create a rituals. We must make sure that this thing, we are doing it over and over such that it will become part of the culture. It will become part of our culture in our organization. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. It's advising us to kindly, like on the chat box, we say where we are joining this, where we are from. That's the city or town we are from. So let's do that. Thank you so much. Okay, now, if we are able to talk about how to build superior customer service, how do we recognize poor customer service in our organization? Please, let me get to hear from you. Let's talk about poor customer service. Let's start, talking. Damilola, thank you. I can see you. Anybody else that, Ejiro, thank you, from Benin. What can you say that is poor customer service in your organization? Tell me. Yes, Victoria. Anybody? Let's go to the chat box. Oh, beautiful, being toxic. Thank you. Yes. Let's keep it coming. Being toxic, of course. Not listening to my beautiful. Thank you, Prisa. You have been so good. You've been contributing. Lack of good, not responding, being misinformative, Adeniran, thank you. Disillusion, beautiful, you can see it's coming. These are some of the, once you see them, my brother, there is poor, lack of empathy, impatience. You can see, we are just on the same page. This poor turnaround time, micromanage, thank you. All this, we are, honestly, you can't take away the fact that getting information twisted, that is poor customer service. To be honest, whenever the expectation of your customer is not met, which will lead to the dissatisfaction and frustration, there is poor customer service. Anything at all that will not meet the expectation of your customer, being biased in opinion, thank you, Bimbo, yes, you know, as long as your customers will be dissatisfied, you allow your customer to be frustrated, you know, there is poor customer service. Like you said, of course, the signs are there. If you see rude behavior, poor communication, unnecessary delays, listening to respond. You know, sometimes we have this problem. We hardly differentiate between listening to understand and listening to respond. Thank you so much, Aziz from New York City. I can see you. Great. You know, lack of empathy, lack of respect, all of these are signs of poor customer service. And let me tell you the danger of poor customer service. There is this customer service software company called Zendesk. They did a survey and analyzed that an estimated 66% of customers who often interact with support said a bad interaction with their business can ruin their day. Can you imagine? 66%. They said once, you know, they have bad interaction with customer support, that singular act can ruin their day. Whereas 73% of those customers will switch to a competitor. So you can see how bad it is. So what are the consequences of customer service, poor customer service in HR? Let's talk. Customer, as in poor customer service, what are the consequences? Once there is poor customer service in your organization, I tell you, you will start to be seeing toxic environment. Thank you, Bello Bimbo. Low productivity is there. That is what I call drop in productivity. Whether you like it or not, as long as your organization is toxic, thank you, Prisa. She said burnout, a turnover increase. Thank you, Ibrahim Aliyu. Loss of profit. Thank you, Ojeka. We are together. Yes. So you can see, once there is your office is toxic, your productivity will be low, and there will be job dissatisfaction. I'm telling you, once there is job dissatisfaction, the next thing that will happen is nonchalant attitude, lackadaisical behavior. Thank you, Ade, reputational risk. Yes, it's there. And you know what? There will be Japa. I'm telling you, once this thing starts to happen, people will start looking for job. As somebody said, people will use your internet to look for job in another organization. So the Japa will even be either local or international, because somebody can port from your organization to another organization. Of course, once your organization start to experience Japa, Olawale, thank you, inefficiency and job dissatisfaction, Like I said, once we start to experience JAPA, the next thing that will happen is employee turnover. And once there is employee turnover, you will be incurring unnecessary costs. Because of what? You need to replace, you need to do this, do that, a lot of things. And you will be losing revenue. And of course, once these things happen, all this will be damaging to your reputation. Misplaced priority. Thank you so much. So these are some of the consequences of poor customer service in HR. I hope we will take this seriously. So now that we are able to understand how to create consequences of poor customer service in HR, how do we now create customer-oriented work culture? We as HR, how do we do it? So we as HR, value system of the company will drop. Yes, thank you, Hannah. So as HR, we have a responsibility of aligning the employee's attitude, behavior, and actions with delivering exceptional customer service through so many ways. One, defining and communicating customer service expectation. Like I rightly mentioned, in customer service, the bottom line is meeting the expectation of your customer. So if you want to create a customer-oriented work culture, you need to define, after you finish defining and you communicate, what is your customer service expectation? This is very essential. Beyond that, you need to train your employees on customer service delivery. I mentioned this in the past, but it's not exhaustive. You must train your employees. Let them know how to handle your customers. That is how. Remember, in my introduction, I talked about these 3 fundamental questions: how, why, and when. I stated clearly that we as HR, we don't have problem with why. All we are doing, we know why. All we are doing, we know when to do it. Because if you want to recruit, you know when. If you are giving query, you know when. If you are promoting, you know when. Where we have issue is how. So we need to recognize and reward customer service excellence. Any of our employees that stand out, we need to recognize him. Beyond recognizing him, we need to reward him or her. We also need to include customer feedback in performance evaluation. We can't take away that. As long as we want to get it right, we need to get what is the opinion of our customers in the way our employees, our HR professionals are giving them service. Again, we need to foster cross-functional collaboration. Many a times, I remember I talked about trust issue, that our major problem has to do with trust. Okay. This trust is between or among, our employees generally. HR, because of course, naturally, like I said, sometimes somebody will just decide not to come to work on time. When reporting time is 8 a.m., closing time is, let's say, 5 p.m., that employee will decide to leave office before 5. And he wouldn't want HR to know. And whenever HR knows, if he raises it, the next thing you say, these guys, I don't like HR. They are wicked. The guy is wicked. I tell you, you don't know. The other day, just because I went to hospital, he will be bringing excuses, yes. But he has forgotten that he will need to take permission He didn't take permission, no, but he's complaining that HR is wicked. How do we foster cross-functional collaboration? Let other departments understand the HR processes. How do we do our job? How do we manage ourselves? You know, because we manage people. Okay, how do we manage our people? We need to understand them. And like of course, Dr. Adio mentioned, even the families of our staff are our customers. Imagine the scenario I painted the other time, somebody who lives in Lekki, and that time when we had the unfortunate flood in Lagos, that person is there, his house was, affected. You didn't care to find out as HR. We need to have that collaboration at every step of the way. Again, we need to lead by example. Again, in another term, I said walk the talk. I'm telling you, as HR, we must lead by example. What did I mean by leading by example? One, if we are to come to work, we must make sure that if 8 a.m. is the reporting time, we must be in our desk by 8 a.m. And we shouldn't close before 8, before 5 p.m. That's one. Secondly, if we are attending to any customer, because let me give you an example. We as HR, our employees are our customers. Then our employees, they deal with external customers. If we want our employees to manage our external customers very well, we need to manage them very well. So in leading by example, the way I manage my colleague that is in marketing, for example, that is how he will manage his customers outside. Imagine that my colleague, or like what I painted, Dr. Adeosun being my HR, call me that, Komo, what happened? How is your house? I hope you are not affected. I hope you are not badly affected. Your wife, your children, how are they? The next thing, you are teaching me, you are training me to learn to be personal with people. So the next thing happened to anybody of my customer. Imagine, I have a customer in Lekki. I am in marketing. I have a customer in Lekki. And I learned that there was flooding. I quickly carry my phone. Chief, how are you? I heard about what happened in Lekki. Sir, how is your area? How is your house? I hope nothing happened. Oh, thank God. Thank God, sir. We give glory to God. Oh, thank God for that. I pray for, that is how he too will talk to his customers. The bottom line will be affected because that way, the customer, the external customer will now feel a part of that organization. He will now give himself as a stakeholder in your organization. By the time we are able to establish this in our organization, we will now have an organization that is operating in customer centrism. Yes. What is customer centrism? Customer centrism is an act of putting employees at the center of your business. That is as HR. Customer centrism in HR is an act of putting your employees at the center of your business. That's all. It is a process of institutionalizing a customer-oriented workplace and building a lasting relationship with your staff. Remember, I said you sometimes need to go personal with your colleague. You need to build relationship. You have to personalize it. That is the only way you can keep your friendship. A customer-centrism organization always has these features. One is customer focus. Two, understand the customer need. Three is personalizing relationship. 4 is empowering the employees through training, empowering them to take decision. I'll give you an example. Just imagine an employee who is in marketing will not have the right or will have to seek permission to call a customer just to greet him. Imagine maybe during Xmas or during Salah, just to send him greetings. Happy Merry Xmas, sir. Happy Salah, sir. Something like that. You know, an employee need to be empowered to take certain decisions. You also, as HR, do you send birthday messages to your colleagues? Do you celebrate your colleagues? You know, at a unit, that unit need to be empowered to celebrate a member of their staff. Somebody who maybe, imagine somebody who clocks 50, you say, wow, we need to, this is going to be a grand celebration. You know, golden year? No, we have to celebrate it. Okay? So you need to empower your staff. So if you are able to do this, it has an importance. It comes with a value. One, it will increase customer satisfaction. It will improve engagement and retention. It will improve productivity. You can see this. This is just simple. Once your staff are satisfied, I tell you, the level of engagement will increase. And you won't have JAPA, be it local or international. And once there is engagement in your organization, the next thing that will happen is your productivity will improve. And, you know, once there is increase in productivity, the bottom line will go up. You know, the bottom line will go up. That is, revenue will go higher. And that one too will not just let you like that. The reputation of your organization will go higher. Okay. So far, so good. I've taken 1 hour of your time. Let me quickly round up. We are all aware that HR, this HR we are seeing, of course, we are calling it HR, but whichever name we call it, from the start of it, it has undergone several transformations. There were several transformation stories from the second industrial revolution, when we were called welfare officers, to labor managers, to personnel managers, to human resource, to strategic human resource, to business partnering, to people manager, talent manager, whatever you call it. I will tell you one secret. What we have been searching all this while, I tell you, is excellent service delivery. We've been trying to improve in so many ways, changing faces. We have been rebranding, you know, like other organizations. Even our profession has been undergoing restructuring and rebranding to an extent that we've been searching for service excellence. So I ask here, what is service excellence? Let's talk. What's service excellence? You know, I think it's good. I share your opinion. What's service excellence? Let it start coming. Service excellence. I'm waiting to hear from you. You know, like I said, let me go back again. HR as a profession has undergone several transformation journeys. You know, from the start of it, transformation on time, on quality. When you exceed expectation, thank you so much. That's it. When you exceed, great delivery, service beautiful, keep it coming. That is exactly what service excellence is all about. So what I'm saying, this struggle of HR, a remarkable experience, beautiful. ECM Adiola, thank you for being part of this. Thank you so much. Ibrahim Aliu, good customer experience, beautiful. So like I mentioned, I said, all these changes that has taken place with HR is about ensuring that, thank you so much, my chairman, Mr. Sukushe, I can see your contribution. Good. Olainka, continuous improvement. Bill, positive customer feedback. They are coming, guys. Thank you so much. You are really with me. You know, that's why sometimes I so much, you know, fell in love with physical, you know, classes, because I will only, you know, talk for only 40%. The 60%, I allow my class to talk, to do the talking, you know, to contribute, because we are here to share knowledge, to learn. I'm learning too, you know, so we are here to share knowledge. Thank you so much. So, like I said, strategic human resource management, business partnering, whatever we call HR, what we are looking for is to ensure service excellence in the way we manage people. Because we are dealing with people. We are dealing with human beings. That human in us should come front. That human should be there whenever we are talking. You know, that human should be number one. High retention rate. Thank you, Olua Fumilayo. Thank you so much. So, and if we are talking of service excellence, we have 5 major pillars that we need to look at. Quality. That is the standard by which we are operating. You go back to your office or reflect. What's the standard by which you are operating in your function? You as HR, because you are dealing with human beings. What is the standard? Just rate yourself 1 to 5. At what standard are you operating? That is the quality of your delivery. How reliable are you? The information you are given, because we need to understand again, the data we are using, management is using it to take decision. What sort of data are we given? How reliable are we as a person, you know, as an employee? Thank you so much. Prioritize customer need. Great. You know, how reliable are we? We need to understand that too. Personalization, like I rightly mentioned in the past, for us to attain service excellence in our service delivery, we must personalize our service. We need to go extra mile. Don't just say, well, I will just, you know, give you a scenario. Somebody did not come to work. You didn't bother to call to find out. All you do was to issue that query. You know, I will give you a story that happened to us in my organization. We have a colleague who came to work on a Tuesday. Of course, was there Monday, Tuesday. After close of work, she left for home. By Wednesday, she didn't show up. Thank God, she has good friends, good colleagues. Somebody from among her colleagues called her line because her usual time is 8 to 8:30, but up to like 10, 11, she didn't show up. That person called. The phone rang, but nobody picked. He started asking questions, asking this one, sorry, did you hear about, did you hear from social person? Did you hear from social person? Nobody will say anything. That guy, because he's a good friend, took the trouble to drop to her house. On getting to her house, he saw her car parked, but the door to her house locked, sorry. He asked the neighbors, did you see the lady staying here? They said, no, we didn't see her today. As God will have it, God in his own wisdom inspired the person to like move closer to the window of the sitting room. He called again, call the line. He had the sound, the phone ringing, which clearly, to his conviction, believed that she is inside. So he now asked the question, why is she not picking her call? But as God will have it, he was so calm and composed. He reported back at the office. We have our security team. They quickly mobilized, reported to a nearby police station. Police station where some like 2 or 3 policemen were mobilized along with our staff. They went to the house, broke the door. They saw her with the same dress that she came office a day before. That lady died. Of course, she had an underlying sickness. Later in the evening, when she returned home, that was when she had an attack. That was when she had an attack and she couldn't survive it. So I now ask the question, if we as HR, we don't take it upon ourselves to personalize our relationship with our colleagues, we are not doing favor to ourselves. I therefore implore all of us to be personal in our job. Like Dr. Adeosun said, even the families of our employees should be our customers. Again, we have to be consistent. There should be consistency in what we do. Lastly, in terms of responsiveness, we need to be responsible. Thank you so much. That's somebody just, concur with me that this similar thing happened in their organization. It really happened. So in terms of responsiveness, we need to respond to our colleagues whenever there is concern. We need to give ourselves timeline. We must make sure that as soon as imagine if somebody will send you mail requesting for something, the least you should do is to reply that person, thank you for contacting us. We received your message and it's been attended to. I will get back to you as soon as we have updates. Something like that. He will be happy that, see this guy, this guy, Dr. Adeosun, that guy will be happy. Remember, as HR, we should always give service with a smile. Thank you so much. This is where I will stop. So we have a few minutes left. If you have any question or any contribution, please go ahead. Dr. Adeosun, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful from a place of service. You will know when somebody is saying something because that's what they practice. You are a teacher and you are also someone with depth of experience. Thank you for all the beautiful illustrations, anecdotes, and the citations you made. That was fantastic. We have 1 or 2 questions already in the chat box. Rachel Oluwatomisin says, are you saying customers are our employees or the word customer has different contexts and types?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me quickly respond to this. I want to repeat what I said in the past. It's there on the slide. Anybody that will receive any service or good from you is your customer. That's just in a nutshell. anybody. A customer is not just about buying goods. No. Anybody that is receiving service from you is your customer. For example, assuming all of us are in the same organization, Dr. Adeosun is our director HR, he is the director. Imagine I am the head compensation and benefit. My dear, I pay your salary. Imagine if I didn't process the salary on time. Will you receive it? So my point is, anybody that has a relation with you in one way or the other in terms of service, you as HR is your customer. So starting from your colleagues within the department, let's see ourselves. Each one of us is a customer to everyone. Then the larger organization, everybody is our customer. Thank you so much. I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you so much, sir. We have another question from Ngozi here, and she's saying that some employees are so secretive that the more you try to relate, the farther away they get. Some will even say, HR, I think this is personal. I don't think you should share the information or get involved. What do you do?
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, you can't take away the fact that in organizations, there are certain informations that are confidential. That is why, of course, in fact, the truth is, wherever you are going, you are in the organization, there are informations that you get them only if you reach certain level. That is why in our own language, in our code, in service excellence, we call them frequency. Depending on your frequency, you will not get certain information. For example, the frequency I'm talking about, imagine I tune my radio to Ray Power and you tune your own to Lagos Talk. We won't hear the same thing. What I will hear is different from what you will hear. So we are going to listen to different stories, even if they are given news. My point here is, Dr. Adeosun as Director HR, the level of information he will have is not the same as that which I will have as ordinary staff or employee. However, where the question is, remember, I said, what we are going to struggle to do and ensure we do it well is the how of HR. How do we let you know that that information is not for you? That is what matters. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that response. And there are so many comments in the chat. If you can, ladies and gentlemen, try and read so that you don't miss out on some of these contributions from our colleagues. Adenino says here, I believe the word camaraderie should exist as a brand philosophy in all HR management policies in an organization.
Thank you so much for your contribution. This is noted. Thank God we have Dr. Adeosun, who is a senior, HR person, is a leader in the industry. You, sir, I think this should be your calling. You can begin to promote it. We hope that one day you will see it will see the light of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I have a question here. It says that, sir, what would you advise if an internal customer, somebody not in HR is asking for something that is not in line with the policy? How do you respond in a customer-centric way, even though you are going to say no because the policy says no or does not support that request?
Okay, thank you so much. You see, that is why it is very good for us to be good listeners and to learn to listen, to understand, not to learn to listen, to respond. The best way for me is to engage that person. There are so many ways of answering questions. Rather than just giving him the answer, you say, really? So, okay, why do you think you need this? You are not saying you will not give him, but you want to engage him. Try to you are, honestly, you are dodging from giving him the right answer, but you are not pushing him away. So try to engage him through your conversation. You'll be able to answer one or two of his concerns that will not need to know about the earlier question he wanted to ask. Because you see, whenever you see anybody asking question, he has a reason for asking that question. So sometimes even the question he is asking will only lead him to asking another one. It will not provide solution to his question. So you trying to engage him, going beyond that to know, okay, do you have any issue in your office? You know, what's the problem? Try to engage him, go deep, you know, try to be personal. Of course, when I say personal, there are things that, you know, people have boundaries. You are not going there. But in terms of work, you are free to go personal and say, man, how are you faring in your office? How is it? Is there any issue? Do you have problem with their network? How is it? What do you know, things like that. So personally, I would suggest that anything that is against the policy is against the policy. However, how you say it is what matters. So the suggestion I'm giving is don't just throw that person away, keep him, engage him or her, get to know more about his situation, circumstances, and condition. Maybe you can provide solution to his concern. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have another comment here and contribution here by my brother, Ibrahim Aliyu. And he says, I think it has to do with how you have been engaging with employees in the place of mentoring, coaching, showing empathy, and showing them you are also a colleague, not a superior. It is all about trust. Okay, Yakubu, yeah, Mr. Yakubu says, how you answer is what matters. In other words, things like your tone, your countenance, are you showing empathy or are you
exactly
just brash and say the policy says, you know, or thank you so much for your contribution.
You so much. I think
I'm still checking
that was the immediate past chairman of the Kaduna branch of CIPM. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you, madam.
My leader. Thank you so much, my leader. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Mary says your body language matters. Okay, fantastic. And also, how you have been treating people before you say the no also matters. If you've been courteous, polite, hopefully, you will have had opportunity to say 2-3 yeses before the no will come forth. Oh, ECM Adiola, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, ECM Oluyemi Adeosun. ECM Aminu, thank you very much for a wonderful session.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was really informative, enlightening, and thank you. We appreciate you. I just want to add one or two things to what you have said it all, sincerely speaking. And somebody asked the question that if employee does not want to relate with HR, he doesn't want to tell HR what is happening to him or her. Yes, and I love how you answered him that yes, it happens. Sometimes you see some employees, they don't want to disclose what they are facing to HR. However, and that's why HR on our part, until employees see us as confidants, until they see us as counselors, until they see us as who they can run to, they will never disclose anything with us. There's so many times I tell, if I'm able to be in class, I tell so many people that before you issue query, yes, we all know that query is questioning, but before you issue query, I mean, check it and check it again. That does this really warrant a query? It's not just that because management has said we should go and give query, we give query. Should you, as HR, try and understand the scenario yourself? Do you understand? It is when by doing this, the employee understand that HR has my ears. HR is truly consumer centric. If I go and meet HR will give me listening here. Until we begin to do it, I remember sometimes I needed to deliver a termination letter, termination of appointment to some of my staff. And I called them, in fact, with smile. I invited them to my office. And I let them understand the processes. I hope you understand that query has taken place. At a point in time, you are suspended. I let them understand what happened, how it transpired, the processes that are taking place. And eventually, I offered the termination letter. And by the time I gave the termination letter, because already when they entered my office, I welcomed them still my staff because they have not exited. So they're still my customers. I still welcome them as customers with smile on my face. So as HR, until we imbibe the culture of customer-centric, just like Aminu has taught us tonight, employee will be running away from us. I want to say thank you very much again. We appreciate you, sir, for this opportunity to give our own thoughts on the subject matter. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone on this call.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ogunbi Emmanuel, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, my ECM. I'm glad to be part of this very important teaching tonight. And I want to thank our ECM, Malam Aminu Yao. And this is quite interesting. And I'm particularly excited when I saw the flyer. I said, whoa, I must make time to listen to this and be part of it. And I say, well done, sir. However, I want to say this. In fact, when I saw that flyer, it just happened to be one of the concern as a branch we are trying to work on so that HR will begin to see the extent at which beyond managing people, I want to also believe that our role is also driving the whole overall customer service culture of every organization, both within and external, because it is the culture that the people are used to within that they will portray outside. You know, if an employee that is not doesn't have an orientation of an excellent service delivery, we find it difficult to also sell it, because it is what you have that you can give. And so it behold on all HR professionals, particularly head of HR and HR team within every organization, to ensure. In fact, Malam Aminu has really broken the whole thing, and I love the dimension at which he come with it. And in fact, what we're looking at as a branch is taking through this journey. But I have to tell my IPC that we need to contact Malam Aminu to be part of the panelists for our planned program for August, which is dealing with this, because we want to begin to see the role of HR as it affects overall corporate culture in service delivery to both internal and external customers. He has extensively dealt with the internal, and of course, the external is also, what the external get is a reflection of what the internal are getting, and that you have sufficiently dealt with tonight. And I think I commend our ECM Oluyemi Adeosun for this wonderful package, and we look forward to seeing more of this. And I sincerely want to appreciate everyone on this call. And my Madam Adiola, I greet you plenty. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, my chairman.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much for your contribution, and that's what value does, create value. We'd like to take Alhaji Sani Alcantara. You have the floor, my leader, sir. You have the floor.
Good evening, my two ACMs, and good evening also all the colleagues. I'm very impressed. Mala Aminu has nailed it. My only contribution, Adesun, my only contribution here is that I want to ask Mala Aminu, why is it that despite the HR they are, what do you call it, concentric, but still, come back? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sir.
The term you call, repeat it for me.
Okay, customer-centric.
Customer-centric.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So why is it that despite the HR, they are customer-centric, but still
Yes.
we are the victims of being wicked? Why is this so? And how shall we correlate the two and sediment to be accepted from our staffs?
Okay, thank you so much, my brother.
Right.
This is a good question, actually. I think in my presentation, I, of course, started with the fact that our major issue in HR is the issue of trust. We all know, any organization you go, there is this lack of trust, between HR and other employees. Simply because, like I put it, HR are dealing with policies. In reality, they are not wicked in any way. They are only doing their job, But remember, I said the problem we have is about how we are doing our job. But we are really doing our job well. You understand? Why we are doing, when we are doing the right thing. Nobody can fault that. The only issue is how we do it. And I said, part of the essence of this presentation is to build the trust that has collapsed, build trust between staff or employee HR and their customers. We as HR, who are our customers? That was the idea behind identifying our customers, one. Secondly, how do we mend the relationship? If you go through, there were steps I mentioned to the extent of personalizing the relationship. If you recall, Dr. Adeosun contributed by saying even the family of our colleagues are our customers. This is to tell you that whatever we are doing, we need to put at the back of our minds that we have a customer. How are we expected to deal with our customer? So I think if we're able to remember the what I said in the past, where I said we need to, at the end of this session, we should be able to have use customer lens, using customer lens in our daily work. Whatever we are doing in our places of work, we should use customer lens. Assuming this is my customer lens, okay, now I put it on. I'm looking at you as my colleague, not as colleague, as customer. You understand? So if I should see you as customer, I tell you, I will be able to build trust. I should be able to establish a relationship that will last, beyond office space. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that question. Very insightful question. Very, very timely too. We'll take my brother, my Oga Osaya Shukushe. You have the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you, ECM Doctor. Congratulations. We've not spoken since you got your award.
Thank you.
Presentation. I just want to contribute to the last question. There are so many factors. From my 20 that there is this mentality that they carry from the former personnel people behavior, that people are so wicked. Most people, they don't differentiate between HR and personnel. So they now think that we're personnel people, and as personnel people, they are wicked people. That's the wrong conception, but they transfer that. The second reason is that lack of explanation. So sometimes some of them that are not closely, they now think as if HR, they are wicked people. I will give you an example. I have so many examples, but I will give one example, two examples. One, there was a lady that, got mad with me simply because she was not promoted. And she said she was going to report me to the CEO. I said, okay, go and report. I believe she went and reported. But at the end of the day, she came back and we became very close friends. Why? I explained to her, I said, HR don't promote people. It's your supervisor based on the scores and performance management or the upper. You will be promoted because it will go to your head of department, from head of department, director and rest, and it will get to the final authorities. And then once they promote you, they will now give you the letter. But we on our own, we cannot do it. So that's why I was so confident that I asked her, okay, you can go to CEO and report. And when she went, the CEO explained to her the process. The second thing, the example that I want to give also, it's somebody that was 3 months. And that confirmation that was delayed, it almost cost me my job, because there was a petition that she wrote up to America, because I worked with an international, at that time, international NGO. So she reported, and then that the matter should be investigated. And when the matter was handled, what I did was I told them that from the report that her supervisor gave, there was no way that her confirmation would go through. And I produced the report, and the supervisor was alive then. They called the supervisor, and we sat around table, all of us, with all those concerned. And finally, I brought out the issue, and the chairman of the panel asked the supervisor, is that so? I showed them, they asked him, are you the one that said? He said, yes. That time, this was her performance, and I gave a true evaluation of what happened. So that was how I was exonerated. So we need to explain to people, we need to keep documents, if it is a note, as HR persons, please keep it. Don't throw it away. You can even pin it to the file or whatever you want to do, because that little note will definitely save you sometimes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Doctor, I think I've seen the Vice President of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. Permit me to welcome her and request that she bless this session with her words, because her words are golden. Please, Madam,
Absolutely.
Can you unmute? Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ECMs.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Aminu Yao and Adeola on the call. Jose Ashukushi, Oluyemi Adeoshun, and all my professional colleagues here. It's a pleasure to be here. Sincere apologies, I came in late. I was in another meeting, but I had made a mental note that I will be here, so I still logged on anyway. And even from the little I've heard, I want to say thank you, Aminu Yao. Super proud of you. You said it all. As HR, we serve people and they are customers, even to I like the way that you put it, even to the relatives of our colleagues in the office. They are customers. And like there's a question someone asked, I think that's Mr. Alcantara. He said, in spite of us being customer-centric, we are still seen as wicked. And like Aminu answered, it depends on how we do the job. Remember that most of our jobs are not very good one, like you need to fire, you need to give warning, you need to give query. But let's remember that even as we are executing these roles, these functions, we still do it with utmost respect and love, because we are not doing it because we hate this person. We are only doing it because it is the policy, and we are making sure that in every way, only when it is justified. For instance, if the company is saying sack someone and the person is not supposed to be sacked, we can still make a case to say, here, this person is not supposed to be sacked because of this reason. But where the person must be sacked, we must handle with respect and love, knowing that it could be us too. We are dealing with human beings. I normally boast that I have sacked, I have given warnings, suspensions, but they have all turned out to be my friends, because in giving you the sack letter, I'm smiling and telling you that there is life on the other side of the world, and that this situation only came up as a matter of XYZ, but it's not the end of your life. So if we go about it like that, I'm sure that the people will also see reasons with us. Someone also asked a question, why do you use it? Is it professional to use SARS and MAS? When we are in a cultural setup where respect is the in thing by our culture, that is seen as respect. Aside from that, in doing that, if you are the kind of person that do that, you also make your colleagues see that you see them as human beings. You are not bringing down their dignities because you are HR or because you need to issue letters. So even if you are sacking the person and you are saying sir, ma, the person still know that, okay, I'm still being respected, not that they are your sir, ma. But if the culture of the organization is such that you don't do that, you don't need to do that. Having said that, it's not my session, it's Aminu Yao's session. Aminu Yao, thank you very much for making us proud. We are super proud of you and for all that we have. In fact, I'll go back and listen to that recording. And I'm sure, I trust Ade Oshun, he will share it. And thank you every one of us for joining on this call, not just to learn, but also to support one of our own. Thank you very much, and do have a blessed. It's always a pleasure to be here, learning every time. Thank you. And God bless you. Over to you, Ade Oshun.
Thank you so much. So before I take the closing remarks by elected council member Aminu Yao, I just have a few things to say with respect to this subject. I like to say that HR professionals are also humans. Sometimes we are hurting, we have pain. Sometimes we are overburdened, overworked. Sometimes we may bring our domestic, family, individual problems to work. We are not supposed to. But sometimes, when you bottle up. So please, if you need therapy, embrace it. It can be another HR colleague, maybe someone like a mentor, a coach to you, or your spiritual leader or something. Don't bottle up things, because when you keep bottling things up, you want to know the day you will go and explode. It's very important. Also, part of what we do and should do as HR is, it can be informal, it can be formal. Send out surveys to staff. Let them rate you. How do they rate you in terms of your customer centricity? How do they rate you in terms of empathy? How do they rate you in terms of open door? Do it, send the form, get the feedback, and then ask follow-up questions. For example, what can we do to improve our services? And as much as possible, we are practicable. Try to also adjust, change, and then know your people. What A likes and what B likes may not be the same. People in different generations, millennial, Gen Z, study them so that you can also approach them and provide support for them and to them in the way they like it. Also, for those of us practicing HR where we are more than one, maybe you are 18, sometimes your colleague may goof. They may speak harshly with a wrong tone. Don't let it slide. Maybe you quickly run after that person and say, oh, I'm sorry for what my colleague did to you, or the tone. Don't leave it, because they will think that is the way all of us are. And one person can create a bad reputation for the Department of Human Resources. So let's provide support for each other. And when that person too is calm, you can politely admonish that person that, oh, apologize to that staff. The way you shared that information was too brash, was not too courteous, and maybe misunderstood or misappreciated. So let's provide support. We can, in customer service, sometimes you make a mistake, but you can remedy it. The remedial action may even be more important than the mistake that you make. That will be my closing comments and thoughts. I would like ECM Aminu to share his closing comments and thoughts. Then all of us will say thank you. Over to you for your closing thoughts, ECM Aminu Yao. Thank you again for joining tonight. I've been tremendously blessed.
Thank you so much, Doctor. You are honestly, you've made my night. I will use this word because for me to be at the midst of these, colleagues of mine, very intellectual, I have learned a lot personally because from your contribution. I want to use this opportunity to sincerely appreciate my Vice President. Madam, thank you so much. I don't take this for granted. This is an honor for you to be in our show, in our session, listening to us. Thank you so much. My ECM, my boss, Mr. Sukushe was the branch chairman of CIPM Abuja when I was the secretary. My sister, the immediate past chairman of the Kaduna branch, the chairman of Kaduna branch too, chairman of Kano. I've seen quite a number of people from CIPM. Thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate you. There are those that I cannot mention their names. I saw my colleague from Kwara, Basirat Olajide. Thank you so much for being part of this. So many people, honestly. I thank you so much. The only thing I want to leave you with is that the transformation of HR will not end. Like what Mr. Sukushe said, we are doing HR now. Of course, in the past, it used to be personnel management. But the point I want to make is that from day one, it has been managing people. Today, we are still managing people. What only happened is changes in the way we manage the people. So if you look at the tail end of my presentation, is that we are now going towards service excellence. And the only way to attain service excellence, remember, I said, we are calling this HR different names. We even no longer call it HR. Some people are calling it strategic human resource, business partnering, people management, talent management. So whatever name you are calling it, the concept we need to take from here is that we are looking towards excellent service delivery in whatever we do. And the only way we can do that is when we personalize the relationship. Remember, in the introductory part, I mentioned that we are not in a nice business because there will be time when you will be called to make the hardest decision. But we are in a fair business. That was why I now said we should behave like referees in a football match. We are to balance the game. The truth is, human resource as it is, it will never exhaust, going or looking for excellent service because we deal with people, and people, their needs, their aspirations, their expectations differs. And even for one person, his needs differ from time to time, not talk of different or many or various employees. So on this note, I want to thank you for having me. I look forward to another opportunity when we will have another topic to share, discuss, share knowledge, and rub minds. Thank you so much from me to you. Have a good night rest. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's unmute and say thank you to Alaji. Let's say thank you to my brother. Let's say thank you to my boss, my colleague.
Ngode Malam Yao,
my
Ngode.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
very
very
much.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Looking forward to
sir.
you.
Thank
You
you,
want
Ngode,
you
sir.
wonder.
That was a brilliant
Thank you, sir.
presentation.
It was a
Thank
brilliant
you.
one.
Thank you.
Very much. This is
I
Bim
think
Bobelo from
Dr.
Lagos.
Okay,
Adeosun,
Adiola, I greet you.
my
Adiosu,
brother,
Oluyemi,
thank you. I
Alhaji
saw
Roll.
my
Thank
colleague
you.
from Ibadan.